You wake up somewhere between 3 and 4 in the morning, and you have no idea why. No loud sound, no bad dream, no alarm. Your eyes just open in the dark, and something in your chest feels strange, a mix of urgency and stillness, like your spirit is trying to tell you something before your mind can explain it. You lie there looking into the dark, wondering what is happening to you. Hear me clearly. That moment may not be random at all. It may not be your body acting up. It may not be stress alone. What if that hour has been carrying a message for your financial life this whole time, and you have been missing it? Stay with me, because this changes how you look at money, prayer, and the night itself. Most people wake up at that hour, roll over, grab their phone, scroll for a minute, and try to force sleep back into their body. And just like that, they miss something important. They miss a quiet opening. They miss a moment that could reset the way they receive peace, direction, and even provision. Years ago, a man came to me after a teaching. He was honest, hard-working, faithful, and tired. He had been trying to move forward financially for years, but nothing stayed in his hands. He said, "I pray, I give, I do my best, so why does money keep slipping away from me?" I asked him one simple question. "What do you do when you wake up in the middle of the night?" He looked confused and said, "I check my phone and try to sleep again." And I told him, that may be exactly where the blessing keeps leaving. What I am about to show you is drawn from Scripture, from old spiritual wisdom, and from a pattern many people never notice. By the end, you will understand why that hour matters, what it may be saying about your finances, and what you can do tonight, not later, to respond in a different way. Don't click away. The next part matters. All through the Bible, the deep night is never treated like empty time. It is not dead space. It is not wasted space. It is often a doorway, a thin place, a quiet line between one reality and another. Psalm 119:62 says, "At midnight I rise to give you thanks because of your righteous laws." Think about that. David, a king, a warrior, a worshipper, rose in the night to thank God, not when it was convenient, not when the day was easy, in the deep hours. Why does that matter for your money? Because the pattern in Scripture is clear. Night can be a moment of awakening, a moment when noise drops, defenses weaken, and your heart becomes easier to reach. Abraham received revelation in the dark. Passover deliverance came at midnight. A quiet voice came in stillness, not in the chaos of the day. Again and again the pattern repeats. God often moves when the world is silent enough for a person to notice. So when you wake between 3 and 4 in the morning, maybe the first question should not be, "Why can't I sleep?" Maybe the better question is, "What is God trying to show me right now?" And yes, I know that may sound intense, but keep listening, because many people who stay stuck financially are not stuck only because of a bad market, bad timing, or a lack of skill. Sometimes there is a deeper blockage. Something inside is out of alignment. Something in the soul is closed. Something in the heart has forgotten how to receive. And every time a person feels that pull in the night and shuts it down with distraction, with fear, or with habit, the blockage can grow stronger. This is where it gets serious, because what looks like a sleep problem may actually be a spiritual invitation, and how you answer it may shape more than your night. It may shape what flows into your life. There is a painful irony here. Many people ask God for help with money all day long, but when a quiet moment comes in the night, they turn away from it without even knowing. They grab the phone, they open messages, they check the time 10 times, they roll over, they numb the moment, and in doing that, they may be stepping away from the very opening they keep praying for. Revelation says, "I stand at the door and knock." That image is powerful, but it becomes even stronger when you remember another line from Scripture. "I was asleep, but my heart was awake." That is the feeling many people know at 3 in the morning. Your body is tired, but something deeper is awake. Your mind is foggy, but your spirit feels alert. It is a strange hour, and that is exactly why it matters. Old teachers spoke about blessing as a flow, like a channel that can open or close. Many people use the word luck, but the deeper idea is closer to spiritual current, divine flow, a stream of favor moving toward a person, a season, even a single hour. And there are times when that flow feels blocked. You work hard, but money leaves fast. You get opportunities, but they fade. You try to move forward, but something invisible keeps holding the door shut. What if one reason is that your spiritual life and your financial life have been split into two separate rooms? Many people pray over here and panic about money over there, as if God rules one part of life but not the other. Scripture does not teach that. Scripture says God gives power to create wealth. That means the ability, the strength, the wisdom, the timing, the open door, all of it begins with Him. If that is true, then money is not outside spiritual life. It is deeply connected to it. And if that is true, then the hour when your spirit is most open may matter more than you think. Keep listening, because now it gets practical. Look at Abraham for a moment. In Genesis 15, God speaks to him in deep darkness, in a heavy, strange, sacred state between fear and revelation. That is where covenant is revealed. That is where promise is spoken. Not at noon, not during a busy meeting, not in the noise of the marketplace. In the night, in the stillness, in that space where control weakens and listening becomes possible. Abraham did not rush to distract himself. He did not treat the moment lightly. He stayed present. And what he received changed not only his own life, but the future of generations. That matters, because many people treat waking at 3 or 4 in the morning like an inconvenience when it may be an invitation. Maybe not every time, but enough times to pay attention. And here is where many people miss the point. They think their financial problems are only outside of them. Debt is outside. The weak economy is outside. Lack of clients is outside. The bad job is outside. And yes, those things are real. Practical action matters. Wise planning matters. Honest work matters. But Scripture keeps showing that what appears outside is often tied to what is happening inside. If the inner channel is blocked, outside solutions alone may not hold. That is why sudden money does not always save a person. You can pour more into a cracked vessel, but if the vessel is not ready, it still leaks. Many people receive increase and then lose it. Not because increase is bad, but because inner readiness was never built. That inner readiness is formed in quiet places. It is formed in trust. It is formed in prayer. It is formed in moments where a person stops running and starts listening. And the deep night, when the world is stripped down to silence, can become one of those moments. If this is speaking to you, stay with me, because now I want to show you what to actually do. Old spiritual teachers described a part of the night when the barriers feel thinner, when divine light seems nearer, when a person is more open than usual to truth, correction, comfort, and direction. A prayer spoken then does not matter, because God suddenly starts listening more. God is always listening. It matters because you are different in that hour. Your pride is quieter. Your image is gone. Your performance is gone. The daytime mask is gone. At 3 in the morning, your heart often tells the truth faster than your mouth does at noon. That is why the moment can be so powerful. You are more honest there, more fragile there, more reachable there, and because of that, more ready to receive. So if you wake at that hour, do not treat it like an enemy right away. Do not panic. Do not curse the moment. Slow down and ask what kind of doorway may have opened. There is an old practice sometimes called the midnight watch, a habit of rising in the deep hours to pray, to repair what is broken in the soul, and to welcome blessing into daily life, including one's work and provision. I want to give you a simple version of that practice, something you can actually do without turning it into a performance, a formula, or a heavy ritual. Simple is important. Clear is important. When people are half awake, they do not need something complicated. They need something real. So here is the first move. If you wake between 3 and 4, do not reach for your phone. Leave it alone. That matters more than you think. Sit up. Put both feet on the floor. Breathe slowly 3 times. Just 3. Let each breath say, I am here, I am awake, I am listening. That alone can change the energy of the moment. Then the next step becomes even more important. And this is where many people feel the shift almost immediately. After you sit up and breathe, read Psalm 121 out loud. If someone is sleeping beside you, whisper it. But do not just read it in your head. Let your own ears hear it. I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. Those words do something. They pull your mind out of panic and place it back into truth. They remind you that your source is bigger than your job. Your savings, your clients, your boss, your market, or the numbers in your account. Read the psalm slowly, then read it again, then once more, 3 times, not rushed, not cold, As you read, bring one financial need before God each time. On the first reading, think about the bill, the debt, the lack, the pressure. On the second reading, think about the opportunity you need, the door that has to open, the wisdom you need for your next move. On the third reading, think about the kind of person you want to become, someone who can carry blessing well, someone who does not leak peace every time money gets tight. This is not begging in fear. This is not trying to twist God's arm. This is alignment. This is remembering what Scripture already says, that God gives power to create wealth. Then speak to Him in your own words, not polished words, not borrowed words, your words. Tell Him what you need. Be direct. If you need a certain amount, say it. If you need a job, say it. If you need favor, wisdom, relief, restoration, courage, or a plan, say it clearly. Honest prayer carries weight, because it comes from the heart, not from performance. And if you feel emotion rise, let it rise. If you need to speak softly through tears, then speak softly through tears. God is not scared of truth. He can handle your exact need better than your vague religious language ever could. And before you lie down again, there is one more step. Do not skip it, because this final part sets the tone for everything that follows. Before you go back to sleep, say this simple line: "Blessed are you, Lord my God, who opens doors of blessing to those who seek you in the night." Say it slowly, mean it. Let those words close the moment. Why is that important? Because you do not want to end the experience in fear. You do not want to end it in tension. You want to end it in trust. You are not lying back down as a person who got interrupted. You are lying back down as a person who answered a call. That changes the weight of the night. And if this awakening happens again, do the practice again. Not once and done, each time. Because repeated response builds spiritual strength. Every time you answer the invitation, the channel becomes a little clearer. The heart becomes a little steadier. The soul becomes a little more trained to receive instead of resist. Now maybe you are thinking, I have prayed before. I have asked for financial help before. Nothing changed. I understand that, truly. But let me ask you something gently. When you prayed before, were you praying from panic or from relationship? Were you only trying to escape pressure, or were you also opening yourself to partnership with God? There is a real difference. Desperation says, please fix this now because I am drowning. Relationship says, I trust you are working even now, and I am willing to meet you here. One is full of fear. The other is full of trust. Fear can make the soul tighten. Trust helps the soul open. And Scripture says we are not beggars standing outside the house forever. We are heirs. We are invited in. That means abundance is not something you stare at through a window while wondering if it belongs to everyone else. It means provision is part of God's heart toward His people. Not always in the way we expect. Not always on our timeline, but real. Very real. And these night moments can become places where that truth moves from theory into something living inside you. A person once learned this in a very real way. He had struggled with money for more than 10 years. He was not lazy. He was not careless. He was simply stuck. Opportunities came and went. Payments vanished. Progress broke apart. After hearing this teaching, he decided to stop fighting those middle-of-the-night awakenings. Every time he woke up, he sat up, breathed, read the psalm, prayed honestly, and went back to sleep in peace. He did not do it once. He kept doing it. A few weeks later, something unexpected happened. A business contact he had not heard from in years reached out suddenly. That conversation opened a new partnership, and that partnership changed his financial direction in a major way. Can anyone prove that the night practice caused the phone call? No, that is not the point. The point is that something shifted when he moved from resistance to receptivity. Something changed when he stopped treating the night as a nuisance and started treating it as a moment of alignment. And this is the deeper truth many people miss. The spiritual and the material are not sealed off from each other. What happens in prayer can affect what happens in work. The posture you take in the darkness can shape what walks through your door in daylight. The way you answer God at 3 a.m. may change the way you recognize opportunity at 3 p.m. That does not mean you stop being practical. It means your practical life becomes rooted in a deeper place. And that is where real stability begins. Not just more money, more peace, more clarity, more wisdom, more inner capacity to carry what you receive. If you are still here, this is the part you need to remember. Do not just feel inspired for a minute and forget it by bedtime. Prepare for the hour before the hour comes. Decide now how you will answer when you wake again. Because if you wait until then, habit may take over, and old habits are fast. So prepare tonight. Put the phone down before sleep with intention. Tell yourself clearly, if I wake up in the night, I will not waste the moment. Learn Psalm 121 if you can, or keep it ready nearby. Hold the pattern in your mind now while you are fully awake. Sit up, feet on the floor, 3 slow breaths, Psalm 121 3 times, 1 honest prayer in your own words, 1 closing declaration before rest. That is it. Simple, focused, real, and do not turn it into superstition. This is not about magic words. This is not about trying to control heaven. It is about becoming available. It is about recognizing that there are moments when your heart is more open than usual and choosing not to throw those moments away. The truth is, many people spend those night hours worrying about money, replaying fear, counting losses, imagining worst-case outcomes, letting anxiety preach to them in the dark. But what if those same hours were meant to become your training ground for trust? What if the enemy meant it for stress, but God meant it for alignment? What if the very hour you hate is the hour that can begin changing the direction of your life? Do not miss that. Because when fear speaks in the night, it often sounds convincing, but truth can speak there too, peace can speak there too, wisdom can speak there too. And if you learn to answer the hour with intention, little by little, the night may stop being a place of confusion and start becoming a place of encounter. That is the shift. That is the new posture. That is where spiritual strength grows quietly, without applause, without spectacle, without anyone else even knowing it happened. And sometimes, the deepest turning points in life begin exactly like that, in silence, in darkness, in one small unseen response. Let me say something plainly. God's desire to provide for you is not a fantasy. It is not a cute religious slogan made to calm people down. Scripture speaks about provision with seriousness. It speaks about daily bread, open doors, wisdom for work, strength for labor, and the power to build. It speaks about blessing in homes, in fields, in families, in hands, in storehouses, in ordinary life. So when you think about your finances, do not think only in numbers. Think in relationship. Think in stewardship. Think in alignment. Think in trust. Think in readiness. Because money by itself does not solve the deeper problem if the heart is still ruled by fear. But a changed heart can handle money very differently. A peaceful soul makes wiser choices. A listening spirit sees openings faster. A person rooted in trust can move with courage instead of panic. And many times those inner shifts begin in hidden places, at a table with an open Bible, in a whispered prayer after midnight, in a room where everyone else is sleeping, and only you and God know what is being formed. Maybe that is why you were drawn to this message. Maybe you needed language for something you have already been living. Maybe you have been waking in that hour for weeks, maybe months, and you kept thinking it was random, or only stress, or just one more problem to solve. But what if it has also been a call? What if heaven has been knocking softly while you were searching for a reason? This is your reminder not to ignore it. The next awakening may feel ordinary at first. The room will still be dark. The clock will still glow. The house will still be quiet. But now you will know that the moment carries possibility. Now you will know what to do. Now you will be ready to answer differently. And sometimes that is where change begins, not in one dramatic event, but in one repeated act of faithful response. So the next time your eyes open, between 3 and 4 in the morning, remember this: do not panic. Do not reach for distraction. Do not assume the moment is empty. Pause, breathe, listen. Lift your heart before you lift your worries. Read the psalm. Speak honestly. Close in trust. Then rest again. That one pattern, repeated with sincerity, can do more for your inner world than hours of daytime worry ever will. And as your inner world changes, do not be surprised if your outer life begins to move differently too. Doors may open, ideas may come, peace may return, favor may appear in places that were silent for years. At the very least, you will no longer spend those sacred hours feeding fear. You will be feeding faith. You will be answering the knock instead of hiding from it. You will be building a life that knows how to receive. If this stirred something in you, hold on to it. Do not let it fade by the end of the day. Carry it with you into tonight. Let it be the last thing in your mind before sleep, and the first thing in your hand when the hour comes. Because the opportunity is not only in hearing this message, the opportunity is in practicing it. And practice is what turns insight into change. I pray peace over your mind, wisdom over your choices, favor over your work, and provision over every part of your life that feels strained right now. May what has been blocked begin to open. May what has felt heavy begin to lift. May your nights become less fearful and more holy. And may the quiet hours you once dreaded become the very hours that teach you how to receive what God has been trying to place into your hands all along. Stay ready. Your next awakening may not be random. It may be the beginning of a new chapter.